I'm Dr. Rudy Cashman. Welcome to our show. We'll be speaking about wellness today, culture of wellness, to encourage you to stay healthy, live to be 100, but how to motivate yourself towards it. You know, for any one of us, including myself, how do you become motivated to change your habits to become healthy? And because it increases your energy, makes you feel good, makes you look good, and lead a long life, be a good example to your children. For example, yesterday I was at a 3-mile walk at a factory trying to stimulate the wellness culture in the factory and what motivates a person. You know, that's not always easy. And I have put together something interesting, a culture of wellness circle here. For example, I took 8 things which can help bring you to have a very healthy life, live to be 100, feel good, look good, probably avoid. You know what the good news is? 90% of our illnesses that we have can be prevented. Yeah, 90%. I mean, this is something. David Katz's book, K-A-T-Z. Incidentally, I've written 22 books now. You can go into Amazon Books, Cashman, they're on there. My book on sitting disease just came out. He says 83% of type 2 diabetes, which all its horrible complications, 80% of vascular disease, 50 to 70% of cancer can be prevented by how you use your fingers, how you use what you put on your forks, how you use your feet. Yes, isn't it something? Yet most of us think, it's inherited, it's in my genes, the whole family has the same problem. Say, it's our genes. No, you get the same exercise habits. You're eating the same food. It's in your genes, all right. And that's the point. This is a judgment-free zone, okay? I'm trying to make you healthy, trying to help you become healthy. I don't have to do this. I'm doing this because my heart is, I'm a doctor. So the 8 magic, I call it the 8 magic things for develop a culture of wellness. Number 1 is you should participate in your health care. This script to the ill has got to stop. You know, certain things, obviously, that's needed, but most things, 9 times out of 10, you should say, do I need this? Geez, I'm already on 14 medications. I'm 85 years old. Is this going to save my life? No, well, maybe you ought not take it because that puts a lot of strain on your liver. The liver has to detoxify all these chemicals, and it may not, be good for you. And so you need to participate, do some reading, look at the internet, get out their opinions, talk to friends and relatives, and maybe you need to do some reading. You know, I must say a number of times I've handed a book to people. The number of them read them is not good, and so like it really concerns me. That includes providers. Yeah, my odds of a provider reading a book that I hand them, 1 in 10, if that. Yeah, I don't understand it. They claim they're too busy. I was a busy neurosurgeon. I wrote a book every 3 months. My library, I probably get at home 1,000 books. I mean, I had the time, played sports all the time, so I don't accept that. I think what it shows, I think this right here. If we care for our job, we want the latest information. And it's fun. I mean, I'm frankly having a ball with all this, getting a lot of people well all the time. So number 1 is participate in your health care. Number 2 is nutrition, what you eat, type of food. And I make it simple. If you eat 70 to 80% vegetables and fruit, 1/3 raw, 1/3 cooked, 20 to 30% organic meat, all you want, you're going to be very healthy. Very simple, not difficult. Okay. Next is physical fitness. Only 3% of the people exercise regularly. That's been proven. I work at a place, 9,000 members, 10% do it regularly, and they're a select group to begin with, which confirms the figures. So I'm not being critical about that. Let's take advantage of that. So I try for you to increase your activities of living. Stand up when you're on the phone. Avoid sitting disease, which I wrote a book on. They found after sitting for a half hour, it's like smoking a pack of cigarettes because it turns off the LPL enzyme. Yeah, based on NASA research. This is science. This is science. So when teenagers are texting 9 hours a day and sitting the whole time, we're going to have a very unhealthy young people who will become very unhealthy older people. I'm not sure, I mean, it's going to be unbelievable cost. What am I asking for physical fitness? Half-hour walk a day. See if you can't do it at work. You know, factory workers would be great because a lot of them do a lot of walking. They're down trouble if 70% of them are smoking. And now one of them tells me the alcohol consumption is pretty heavy too. That's concerning to me when the national rate's supposed to be 21%, 70% of the factory workers are smoking. Doesn't anybody care? I think, you know, I went to Smoke-Free Indiana recently, and that's not what they're concentrating on. 70%, that's not believable. We need to, I've reviewed the literature on that, and we need to give them rewards and things to get that to change. It's a judgment-free zone. There are reasons for that. Maybe they're stressed, maybe they can't. There are many reasons, but we got to turn the key to change it, not for my benefit, for their benefit. They're going to die young. The family, they'll be dead. The families will be missing them, and these are good and nice people with children and grandparents. We need to work on that. So spirituality is among my 8. If you have some faith in something, you're more likely to act the things you're doing. So I think that's important. And it's a way of life. Wellness is a way of life, okay? Because it makes you feel good. Why do I practice wellness principles? It makes me feel good. You know what I mean? I look healthy, I think. And people say I'm not exactly 39 years old. And if someone pays me a compliment at my age, I really, you know what I mean? So I try to dress nice. I try to have a smile on my face. I try to be happy. People say nicer things to you and a nicer life. So it's a way of life. It's a process. Your kids will do what you do. So this is important. Education, when does it begin? Before birth. What the mother and father did, their habits, what they put on their fingers, their forks and knife, before birth determines their way of life. Learn about the mind-body connection, that this puts out neurotransmitters, hormones, and neuropeptides that affect the rest of your body. You got to know that. And lastly, get your blood testing done. Every year, starting at age 1, every year get your blood test, not at 35 or 45. The things that are going to kill you or disable you occur as a teenager, as a 20-year-old, and the cancer arrives. Oh, I have breast cancer. But the way you ate, the way you exercised, everything like that, whether you smoked, whether you drank a lot of alcohol, occurred decades ago. So learn about these things early in your life. So I wrote a book, The Secrets of Motivating Yourself to Wellness, right here, and I wrote it a number of years ago. It was on Amazon. I reread it again for this show, and it really puts it out there. And it's not easy to get someone to change necessarily. So Galileo, you know, the astronomer, I actually went to Florence, Italy, because I was interested in Galileo, Copernicus, and Kepler. Now I was in Florence, and I visited the Galileo Museum. Yeah, it's something. It was something. But he said, it's interesting, you cannot teach a man anything. You can only help him to find it with himself. Interesting. That's interesting. I'm a teacher. Physician means teacher. But will you follow it? Will you accept it? Probably not till we lack information. It says in the Bible, Hosea 6:4, I teach wellness through the Daniel plan, which is an excellent way too, in some churches, okay? And Rick Warren wrote that book, and I think it's a great book. Mark Hyman, Dr. Amen, they all wrote this book, How to Teach Wellness Through Religion, because some people, it takes religion. So I think that's a good way. If you never read that book, also a good website too. Rick Warren's. it's a good way, the Daniel Plan. It's very good. He has CDs, DVDs, a book. I've used it. I'm not promoting the church. That's in California. I'm promoting what they're doing because they noticed themselves they were not healthy. And so then they came up with this book. It's a great book to read. So you're learning the mind. It takes religion literally to change some people. To develop a sense of purpose in your life, which actually was Rick Warren's previous book, The Purposeful Life. I noticed myself, I have a purpose to get people well, okay? I was a neurosurgeon 45 years, but I noticed 80% of the people I was seeing needed coaching. They didn't need all this fancy stuff we're doing. So I've devoted my life to that now, after having done it for 43 years of being a neurosurgeon, including the U.S. Navy, Vietnam War. I feel like I have a purpose. I feel so lucky. I feel so lucky. For people who get out of bed and have no purpose in life, it's tough. I remember seeing a gentleman who had type 2 diabetes, had a backache, very unhealthy, going blind, numbness, arms and legs. I mean, really advanced type 2 diabetes. And he literally told me, although he had a wife there, said, I have nothing to live for, Doc. I'm not going to change. Well, if someone could have put a purpose in his life, like, I don't know, watch Johnny graduate or whatever, maybe could have motivated some change. But we all have our own messenger. What would make us do it? You know, is it something down the line we want to attend? We want to see a kid graduate or see how his new company develops or whatever. So it's important what's going to motivate somebody that's going on in their life. And but to read his book, Purposeful Life by Rick Warren, if you're missing your purpose, I tell you the easiest purpose, help another person, help other people. That's the biggest purpose, I think, and that's not hard to find. What else could make us change? A life-threatening thing, but most people, if you tell them what's going to happen if they smoke too much, for example, and you explain to them the black lung and the cancers all over their body, cancer in any organ of the body, blindness, loss of hearing, throat cancers, choking to death, broken jaw, you can just keep on going, keep on going. You know, 90% of them wouldn't change. They wouldn't. Yeah, I had a class once, some high school students who were kind of in trouble, so the school board gave them to us, Phil Pino and I actually, to teach once a week, which we did for 1 hour on wellness. 100% of them smoked. We never got one of them to give up cigarettes for 1 day for a free pizza. Mr. Freeland, unfortunately he died, but the Pizza Hut guy gave us these things. They could go to Pizza Hut, get a pizza free. We thank him for that. And we didn't have one taker. Goes to show you how do you motivate a person like that, okay? Even one girl even wanted to be a model. And I told him, if you smoke, you will look 20 years older after a while. And she was 16, a very pretty girl. She said, Doctor, do I look 20 years older already? Okay. And but it can be difficult. But Christopher Reeve, for example, broke his neck falling from a horse accident. And that's a life-changing event, you know what I mean? A lot of people would not have gone through what he went through, but he was a motivated individual, and he managed to make a life out of that. All he could really do was move his tongue, I think. You know, very high quadriplegic, couldn't move anything, and he made big plans for a research foundation, do experiments to see how to stimulate movement through transplants, cellular transplants. He worked on it day and night. He had a purpose. He had a purpose in life. I think he enjoyed the years that he had, and he developed a purpose in life. What's another way to motivate somebody? Well, to point out some discrepancy in their life. that, for example, they have bad health habits and they have no energy and they're lying around and they're just going to have a cigarette every 20 minutes, day and night, and then show them the neighbor who's free, moving around and playing sports and doing things. Well, that's a discrepancy. And some people would go for that. Other people would not. You know, the difference between what is, what could be. You won't get type 2 diabetes if you knock off that 10% of your body weight, pointing out a discrepancy. They would say, I don't want all those illnesses, and they would move. Another person would mean nothing. So that's another way of doing it. And some people are creative, and they can visualize something. I'll tell people who have a problem, they're trying to get better, to visualize a better situation. For example, if they get diabetes and they need to knock off 30 pounds to get rid of it, you can get rid of it in 60 days, actually. I asked them to visualize in the mirror. You know, it's like the cat looking in the mirror and seeing a lion, okay? To look in the mirror and seeing a healthy person. And every day, visualize it, every day. Visualization is the language of the unconscious mind. Yeah. Norman Vincent Peale, the famous minister from New York, the Marble Church, he's dead now, but many years ago, I even visited his church recently, wrote books on visualization and on meditation. You can if you think you can. So to change your mind, you can if you think you can. So you try to become a positive thinker. And he talked about the power of it. So he wrote many books, 22 books. I operated on a minister's wife from North Manchester, I think, and the husband, 80-something, said, you know, looking at the newspaper articles on your wall, I think you would read these books. He brought in the 22 books of Norman Vincent Peale, autographed by him and his wife, Ruth. I read them all 5 times, did TV shows on them, and used it constantly on encouraging my patients to motivate them. And these are very good books to read, very good books to read. I remember what he said about stress. How do you deal with stress? And I thought this was a good one, no matter what, even if you don't go to church. After 7 o'clock in the evening in my house, we don't discuss problems. They're not discussed. That has to wait till the next morning unless somebody's dying or something. And I get that out of one of his books. He said, that's up to God. He handles it. I thought that was a good one. A lot of good things in his books. I mean, if you were to read his books, I read them all, and I just love them. So that's one way, is motivating. Visualizing a goal of what you want to achieve. Okay? I think this is excellent. And if you think, well, I'm not going to change, I don't care. You got to remember, if you die of bad health habits, for example, you're dead. You got no problems. It's the people you left behind got the problems. They can't pay their bills. They're probably going to give up the house, and their life may be ruined. The kids may not go to college. So now there's a reason to motivate yourself to get, well, other responsibilities coming down the line that maybe you could help meet them. Besides, you know, they might just love you and got nobody to hug now, okay? That could be motivating. So actually, you can change a habit 21 days usually. By 21 days, people can change a habit. Like you get hooked to sugar. If sugar is the booger, that's usually what makes people overweight and unhealthy, is the sugar. If you eat some, but detox 21 days, usually you lose that addiction. Sugar is addictive. So you can if you think you can. Okay, as a number of people say, you can if you think you can. So there's another book he wrote. So use some visualization. Okay, visualize your future down the line. Look in the mirror, visualize. That's the language of the unconscious mind. That will speak, that vision will speak to your brain and make you move in the direction you're trying to achieve. Interesting. When famous golfers hit the golf ball, they visualize the shot. Oh yeah, standing on the green, hitting the ball where it's going to land. They visualize it. Didn't even think about the shot. They just visualize it. I do that playing tennis. I did it when I was scrubbing my hands doing surgery. I'd visualize the operation. Then I go in there, turn on some music, and operate. And nine times out of 10 or more, things went just great because I was feeling good. My endorphins, neurotransmitters made me feel good. I had people say to me in the room, doctor, that were helping me, I didn't even realize I was at work. Yeah. We put music for the things we were doing, and we're literally dancing around the room. Of course, I'm sitting on a chair in a microscope. I'm not dancing, but the people are moving in with them. And with them can be healing, can be motivating. They felt good. They felt good, very interesting. Self-talk can be helpful. And I'll give you some examples on page 52 of my book here, and to kind of get you to motivate a bit. There's about 40 of them. We're not going to read all 40, but let's do a few. I'm 100% responsible for everything in my life. You accept responsibility. You can't pass in the buck. I'm not successful because of bullcrap. Get to work. Get to work. If somebody did something bad to you, that guy's out dancing while you're bad-mouthing him. Waste of time. I had someone fire me, actually, after 6 months in practice. I still don't know the reason, but on New Year's Eve, he knocks on the door at 7 p.m. He's got a box and an envelope there, and I thought he was going to hand me a bonus. I had 3 kids, 2 houses then, because I bought a place at Lake Wawasee, which I shouldn't have bought, but they were so cheap, and it turns out it was a good idea. But I had 2 mortgages, 3 kids, just out of the residency, $100,000 in debt, and he fires me, okay? Not a week's wages, not 1 week's wages, okay? So what do you do then? That was motivating. That's a life-changing event. That was motivating. I wrote that story in this book, actually, too. It made me think of, because they had good neurosurgeons here. He was good, too. He just, I think people liked me a little more than him. I don't know what the reason was. He Mayo Clinic trained, good neurosurgeon. Although, and so I thought of the idea of going to out of town, Van Wert, Paulding, Defiance, and Bryan, run clinics there, bring the patients here if they needed surgery. Was that a master stroke? No doctor on Fort Wayne had ever done it. That's why we have all these out, because all the doctors copied it. Now we get outlying patients all over our hospitals. You think they build these new hospitals here because of Fort Wayne? No, it's the outlying people and excellent doctors in these hospitals whose reputations are spreading into Michigan and towards Indianapolis and into Ohio. And we have great doctors here. But the first person to do it was me, because I was desperate. I was desperate. So that was motivating. I had a family, kids, debts. So let's go down the list, talking to yourself. I want to live my dream, so visualize a dream for the future. I like to achieve my highest potential. Okay, that's one for you. I expect the best every day in every way. If you go in there and you're eating crappy food and you're smoking and you're drinking, you're not doing your best. Come on, you're not doing your best. I believe in me. I believe in me. I can do it, okay? And I have a dream. I can because I believe I can. How about that? I can win. I believe I can win. Okay, last night I was playing tennis. I down 5-2 the first set. But I never gave up, believed that I couldn't possibly win. I got closer to the net, thought positively, moved a little quicker. And guess what? Me and my buddy Dave last night beat some very good people in 2 straight sets because we believed in ourselves. And things are more likely to go right if you do. You start thinking negatively, those shots aren't going to work. You got to go with confidence, move forward, and everything contains opportunity for me. We can think negatively about opportunities available, or we can think positively about opportunities available. And as Norman Vincent Peale would say, if God be before me, who can be against me? So if you have faith in spirituality, and you believe in the energy of the universe, or God, whatever you want to call it, you'll connect to it. I know. I've lived a long life. You connect to the energy of the universe. That's happened to me. And so I set and achieve goals that stretch me personally, professionally, and spiritually. You'll maybe achieve about 30% of the things you dream up, but that's a hell lot more than you had before, a lot of heck more than you had before. Okay? That's a heck of a lot than you had before. So make some dreams. I didn't always achieve what I wanted to achieve, but I got some of them, and some are pretty good. And you can do that for you. Okay? So I set goals the night before and focus on doing my very best the next day. That's a good way. You know, set a goal for the next few days and at night and sleep on them, you know, is a good way. And so everything I desire in my life is already here for me, is another way to look at it. So the power of positive thinking can make, you know, a big difference. But again, there's about 30 more on page 53. You might like to read them. And make exercise a habit. I mean, that alone will get you in the right attitude, but exercise is about 30% of the thing to good health. We want you to also to eat right, do things besides exercise, okay? So I say in summary here, set a goal, visualize your goal, what you would like to achieve, and be positive no matter what your situation, even if you have cancer, okay? LaShawn wrote a book that patients who can get into positive thinking, eating right, exercising, he can double their lifespan and increase their spontaneous cure rate. LaShawn, he wrote a book on that, okay? And I believe that. I've seen examples many times. So positive thinking makes a big difference. Bring music into your life. As you're more relaxing, things go your way. After a stressful day in neurosurgery, I used to turn the radio on right away and play bouncy music that I like, not the guy behind me likes, that I like. I start conducting the orchestra in about a minute or two, I was feeling much better, and things seem to be going my way instead of this pessimism which you can pick up in a day, especially in a field like neurosurgery. You know, serious stuff, light stuff. I cured you. Well, your son's gonna this. I mean, serious things I had to talk about every other minute, and it's tough to keep your spirit up. But I had to do things, and I did them. I exercised. I ate right when I was not stressed. When I was very stressed, sometimes I ate bad food. But I only do it once every 2 weeks. Okay. So, in summary, your mind affects your body. So the works of Norman Vincent Peale, you can if you think you can, are very good ones to read. Visualization are good to practice, and to follow my Magic 8. You can try to get a copy by calling us, contacting, send us an email at cashmanhealth.com. You have a great life. I hope you watch all the shows. We have 2 radio shows every week and now TV show. I'm so privileged. And I thank the God of the universe for allowing in public access TV, Allen County. We have to thank them very much for providing this opportunity for me. And we'll see you at the next show. We love you all. Bye-bye.